God. Let's talk about the existence of God. Or goddess.
And goddess.
If you don't believe the creator is limited by gender, then why are we only saying he?
When you give a word a gender, that gender can have so much power.
I know that there are many words for, well, my favorite way to call it is creator. God, goddess, Yahweh, the universe, the divine spirit.
Brahma, Krishna, Shiva, Mother Gaia, Source, infinite intelligence.
Like how water is rain, but it's also the ocean, and it's also like steam, but it's all H2O. Why do you think people made God the Father in the sky and they called him he?
When we take the subject of spirituality and then we give it polarity, masculine and a feminine, and there can be true creation. The masculine God force expresses as word, as mind, as action. The feminine goddess force, energy, the sweetness, the emotions, the feelings, the nectar, the softness. When the two connect together again, becoming that one, that's when we enter into that Christ consciousness.
I've learned that early humans couldn't process suffering, and their thought process was, if God is good and I'm hurting, God must be far away, and they created this separation to explain pain as punishment rather than part of the natural cycle. I was raised in a house that was very Catholic. Charismatic masses where like the priest is like talking in tongues and people are like spasming out on the floor or passing out after a priest blesses them. There was a point where I was just like fed up with how, you know, the Catholic Church was behaving as an entity, growing such a connection with this thing you go to every Sunday, and then like learning the things that the Vatican does, and you're like, wait a minute. So it kind of like, I was like, oh, I guess if Catholicism's like that, I guess every religion is like that. And then I shut myself out. But I do appreciate the Catholic Church. They had really good organ players. Hearing the choirs sing on like Christmas and Easter, it taught me how to voice lead. You know, I knew what voice leading was before I studied music theory. And then my friend Corey had a copy of the Bhagavad Gita. The cover looks so cool, and I remember it was sort of like a forbidden book in our house. If I asked my parents to get that at 5 years old, they probably would have said no. But now it's like, ooh, I can read the forbidden book. It's in my apartment.
Religions teach us how to separate, but that was because we went into the spiritual dark ages for a time, in which our spiritual DNA was basically ripped apart. We were going through some galactic winter, but now we're coming back, as I call it, to galactic springtime. And Sleeping Beauty is starting to awaken, and our spiritual gifts are starting to come back online. Our consciousness is starting to plug it back into source, into our superconscious state.
There's no borders between you and the divine. There's no separation from anything in this universe because everything is quantumly entangled with each other. The same energy that's beating your heart right now is the same energy that spins planets. If you are creator, how should you treat yourself? How should you treat others? Stop looking up for answers, start looking in, and then look up. We want to know from you what you think, you know, about all of this. What name do you call the creator in your language or your culture? And write it in the comments and give us a follow if this kind of discussion intrigues you.